in the Irish session book that I've published on my website for free, there's quite a few tunes for the A small pipes that are actually in the key of G. And by that I mean the tonal center of the tune is G. It revolves around G. And so one of the really easy tunes to demonstrate this with is Kesh Jig. Because we normally play it in A, or at least that is, the first notes of the tune are low A and the last notes of the tune are low A. However, if you go to an Irish session tune and start playing this tune, you'll be playing the wrong notes because they played in G, and so their first note is G and their last note is G. And so I was going to demonstrate what it sounds like on a set of G small pipes. Now, really, these aren't G small pipes; they're A small pipes. But so it's got all the same notes as an A small pipe, except that the notes are positioned on the chanter so that they're in tune with drones that are tuned to G, instead of drones that are tuned to A. And then I also have the C natural back thumb hole. However, Kesh Jig doesn't have any C naturals or any C's at all in it, so I don't have to worry about that distinction. But I'll play it here on this one, and then I'll play it on the A small pipes, and you can hear how bad it sounds when you play it with drones in the wrong key. So here are, this is actually a set of C small pipe drones, and so it's usually the bass is C, the tenor is C, bass is C, tenor is C, and the baritone is G. But I've actually got the bass and the tenor tuned all the way up to D because it sounds brighter. So the bass and tenor are D, but the baritone is still a G. Okay, and then again I've got my special G chanter made by Seth Hammond, where he has positioned the holes according to my calculations to give me notes that are in tune with G drones instead of notes that are in tune with A drones. So you'll notice that it'll sound very pretty when I'm playing G, but it'll sound a little funny when I'm playing A. And so here A is similar to B on a set of normal A small pipes. That C sharp's pretty wacky, huh? Let's stick with C natural. So Kesh Jig on quote-unquote G small pipes. Go. So that was Kesh Jig played on an appropriate instrument where the focus is on G. Let me break out my A small pipes. Sorry, this is probably going to be the longest part of this video because it's a different set of bellows, different set of pipes entirely. Those are Garvey small pipes. And I've got the Garvey C chanter to go with it, and it's got keys for C natural and F natural. Well, if you use the A small pipe terminology, I'm not going to bother to figure out what notes those are on a C small pipe chanter. But anyway, I don't really care for the key for the C natural. I think it's a lot easier to just use the back thumb hole, and it's a lot faster, and I have more control over it, and it's very natural. And anyways, that's what I've got on my border pipes from John Swain, and so I've kind of gotten used to it. So, anyways, alright, so here's my set of A small pipes. These are made by Kinnear, although again I'm using another Seth Hammond chanter. That G one was in cocos wood, this one's in blackwood. So, I've got to tune these drones though, I don't think I've done it yet. Looks like I'm a really good guesser. Alright, so here's Kesh Jig, same one, starting on the note G, but with A drones. and you'll see how bad it sounds. And you'll notice in the sheet music I provided, it says turn off your drones or tune them to G if you can. You might get away with tuning the baritone to D if you wanted to keep one drone going, but if you have a little switch, it's easier to just turn them off instead of reaching over here and popping them off while everyone's playing in the session. So, but here I'll show you how bad it sounds when you play A small pipes with A drones instead of G drones, and a tune that is in G and G major proper. There's plenty of tunes in the book that have the key signature of G, and that just means that the C, it needs to be played as a C natural instead of a C, but the tonal center is still A, and that's called A Dorian. And so you can still play it with A drones. I'll play another tune here in a minute that would demonstrate the key of G, but it's really an A Dorian because, maybe the ending phrase ends on A or something like that. So here's Kes Jig. That sounds really bad because you're using the wrong drones because it's in the wrong key. That sounded terrible. And it's not because my chanter's out of tune. It's actually in tune. It's just playing in the wrong key. Sorry you can't see my face. I'm trying to show you the pipes. If you play it up a note, instead of on G, you play A. So up, I always forget this. I guess it's a half step or a whole step. But anyways, if you start on A as we normally do, when we play Kes Jig as pipers, see, it sounds fine, right? Because now I'm playing it in A, and thankfully there's no G sharps, at least in the Highland pipe version. And so it works with A drones. Okay, but that doesn't mean that there aren't tunes that are technically in G major, just because it's a F sharp and a C natural, but they still sound good against A drones, meaning they're in A Dorian. And an example of that would be Condon's Frolics, and you'll note I say it's in A Dorian, and so they're C naturals. The normal key of the Highland bagpipe is the key of D, but because our tonal center is A, it's actually more correct or more specific anyway to say A mixolydian, because you have the C sharp and the F sharp. It's not the key of A major because we don't have a G sharp. It would be A major with a flattened seventh, which is A mixolydian. And if you flatten the third, the C, I think it's third, to C natural, it becomes A Dorian. So you have A major, you flatten the high G and the low G, it becomes A mixolydian, which is the normal pipe scale. And then if you flatten the C as well, it becomes G major or A Dorian. I forget what it turns into if you flatten the F. I think it's A Aeolian, but I don't really remember. I'm not really a music theorist. But anyway, so here's Condon Frolics. So here's an example that has a key signature of G, but it still sounds good against A drones because it's an A Dorian, not G major. So you probably heard me play C naturals there instead of C sharps. I'm not sure if you could see it or not. But see, it ends on low A, so it's an A something. So A Dorian in this instance because the C's are naturals and F's are sharp. What else to finish out this video to make it relevant? So anyways, as you're flipping through that Irish tune book, you know, you'll see tunes with no comments, and those are just in A, or they're in D because they end on D. I don't think there are any that end on B, which might indicate B minor, which is sort of the same thing as D, except instead of ending on D, you have sort of this B minorish sound. An example of a B minor tune is some of the, I think this is out of Rob Matheson's book, something like the Celtic Matador or something. Shoot, give me a second. So you see it ends on B. It's kind of minor-y sounding, so it's in B minor. It's the same scale as A mixolydian or D major, but it just has that minorish sound. It starts on B. Sleep, Dearie Sleep is another one that's kind of B minorish. So something like that.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, Elliot. What's up? I'm making a video for YouTube because I'm a YouTuber. Okay, so what's up, dude?
Hi.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
What? You better not cut that part out.
okay. Do you actually need something? Because I need to
No,
get on with the
I
video.
just say hi and be on.
Okay. 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 So maybe not Sleep, Dearie Sleep. But anyways, there's some B minor tunes out there. So what's sort of interesting is I actually created that G chanter to play with G drones to play Northumbrian music. Because a lot of that music is in G major, and so I liked a lot of the Northumbrian tunes, and so, but you know, these don't work with that. So, for instance, if you get back to the session book, you know, if you want to play some of these G tunes, and you have the C natural thumb hole or a C natural key, and you want to play along, you can, but turn off those drones. So, anyways, that way, you know, you're still justly tuned, just inclination tuned to A drones. But, you know, within a session, it's not that big of a deal. You're not going to be that far off. The whistle players are going to be farther off than you probably, at least if they're playing anything like my whistles. And their blowing variation changes the pitch, so you'll be in tune enough. Just turn the drones off for those G tunes that start or end on the note G. And I put a note on all of them. So you just have to watch out for that. If there's no note, just play it as it is, you know. A drone's going and everything. Let's see. There's this odd tune that ends on, yeah, never mind. Yeah, Fasten the Leg in Her. That's a terrible tune. I can't find the melody in that tune at all. Ends on D. So I said it was in G, but it ends on D, so it'd be fine to play the A drones. So I'm just kind of flipping through here to make sure I'm not missing anything, because I didn't prepare anything for this video. I'm wondering, what's that one tune that's got both C natural and C sharp? Let me see if I can find this. What was that? That's a reel. Gravel walk. That's another one in A Dorian. So A drones, but C natural. Let's see. McKenna's, Miss McLeod's, Nellie Donovan. Old Bush. The Old Bush. Oh yes, this is a great one. Because this is an A Dorian. Sort of. It's also an A mixolydian. It depends on how you look at it. But it's got accidentals. It has both C naturals and C sharps in it. I could try to play this. I played on the Allen pipes. I don't know if I've ever tried to play it on this, but this would be another one suitable for a normal A small pipes with the C natural. You have to have both. They're both there. You hear that? Oh, okay. I'm messing it up because I'm not used to this channel. So maybe I try to play it up to speed. I'm used to reading it with the accidentals the other way around. So here we go. Yeah, for the Highland pipe version, I wrote it in A mixolydian, and so all of the C naturals are the accidentals. But I think in the my Uilleann pipe setting, I wrote it in A Dorian, and it's the C sharps that are labeled. And it's the C naturals that are just unlabeled. And so every time I see the label, I immediately jump to C sharp, and when I don't see the label, I go to C natural. But for the Highland pipe setting, since I wrote it for Highland pipers who used to be seeing the label for the weird note, it's backwards, and I keep switching it in my mind. But anyways, it's a fun tune. So anyways, I hope that helps understand why some of the tunes in the Irish tune books need to be played with G drones or with your A drones off. You can still play it with an A small pipe tenor. Just turn your drones off if it's in the key of G. If it's in A Dorian, you're fine. Just, know that all the C's are C naturals. Unless you're playing the Old Bush, in which it switches back and forth. So, okay. Well, that was a good 20-minute video. And that was Mr. Boogers, otherwise known as Elliot. And, yeah. All right. Well, that's 20 minutes, so goodbye.